Some homes disappear with time, while others survive for thousands of years. Among the oldest surviving designs is the Celtic roundhouse, a structure that has stood the test of time for over 2 millennia. Rebuilt using evidence gathered from archaeological discoveries, this project aims to answer one important question: can an ancient building method still meet the demands of the modern world? Construction began by carefully marking the exact outline of the building. Once the layout was complete, the team excavated the foundation until they reached solid, undisturbed ground, capable of supporting the massive stone structure. Rather than digging one large trench, the builders narrowed the base wherever possible. This reduced the amount of labor while still creating a strong and reliable foundation. The roundhouse itself measures approximately 4.5 meters in diameter, enclosed by a dry stone wall nearly 80 centimeters thick. With the groundwork finished, stone was transported to the site. Smaller rocks were carried by hand in woven baskets, but as construction progressed, the increasing weight quickly made this method impractical. To solve the problem, the team built a sturdy wooden sled. Pulled by a mule, it allowed heavy stones to move across rough forest terrain with far less effort, greatly speeding up the entire process. Building the wall became the first major test of the project. Using traditional dry stone techniques, every stone had to support itself without a single drop of mortar. Strength depended entirely on selecting the right stones and locking them together through careful placement. Although the concept seems simple, mastering it required remarkable patience and precision. Since no two stones shared the same shape, each one had to be rotated, adjusted, and tested repeatedly before finding its perfect position. Even the smallest mistake could weaken everything built above it. As the wall continued to rise, long through stones were inserted at regular intervals. Unlike ordinary stones, these pieces stretched from one side of the wall to the other, locking both faces together and greatly increasing the wall's overall strength. After nearly 10 days of steady work, the stone wall finally reached its planned height. Only then could the builders begin assembling the timber framework that would eventually carry the enormous weight of the roof. The roof frame was the most demanding stage of the entire build. Unlike the stonework below, where small corrections could still be made, the timber structure had to come together with exceptional accuracy. Every beam depended on the others, meaning even a slight error could throw the entire frame out of alignment. To keep everything stable during assembly, a temporary support post was installed at the center of the building. It acted as a guide, holding the main structure in place while the roof skeleton gradually took shape. Following ancient construction traditions, every connection was locked together using hardwood pegs instead of iron nails or metal fasteners. Only after each joint had been carefully aligned were the pegs driven firmly into place, creating a strong connection that relied entirely on wood. Even frequent rain couldn't bring the project to a halt. Additional braces were installed to strengthen the frame before long. Flexible branches were woven across the rafters, creating the foundation that would later support the roof covering. every joint secured and every beam firmly in place, the temporary center post had finally completed its job. Once it was removed, the entire roof frame remained standing on its own, proving that the structure was properly balanced and ready for the next stage of construction. The roof depended on two traditional materials, layers of turf and bundles of reed. Instead of using modern equipment, the team harvested everything by hand, with tools modeled after those used centuries ago. Only then did the true scale of the task become clear. Covering a roof of nearly 80 square meters required an enormous amount of material, hundreds of turf sections, and roughly 700 to 800 bundles of reed. Every bundle of reed had to be inspected one by one. Broken stems were removed, tangled fibers were separated, and the remaining reeds were carefully straightened and sorted by quality. Only the best materials would be used on the finished roof. The first layer wasn't made of reed at all. Large sections of turf were laid directly over the wooden framework, creating a natural base that helped support the roofing above, while providing additional insulation against changing weather. As more layers of reed were added, the roof slowly took on its final shape. Each bundle was carefully positioned and firmly secured with wooden battens and pegs. to achieve a smooth, uniform finish, the highest quality reeds were saved for the outermost layer. With the last bundle finally in place, the project entered its final stage. Only two important elements remained unfinished: the roof ridge and the central smoke vent. Although small in size, these features would determine how effectively the house could handle heavy rain while allowing smoke from the fire to escape. After months of construction, the roundhouse was finally ready for its first real test. The first fire was lit at the center of the house, but the result was not what anyone had hoped for. Instead of escaping through the roof, smoke quickly filled the entire interior. The first attempt focused on improving the airflow feeding the fire, hoping it would create a stronger natural draft. While it helped to some extent, far too much smoke still remained inside the house. In the end, the roof peak had to be dismantled to build a new roof cap. The redesigned structure not only kept rain from blowing into the house, but also created a much more effective outlet for smoke to escape naturally. With that, the roof was finally complete after months of testing, refinement, and repeated rebuilding. Although a few smaller details, such as the door and interior, still remained unfinished, the main structure of the roundhouse was essentially complete. More than 2,000 years have passed. Yet, Many Celtic building principles have continued to prove their value under real-world conditions. Rather than simply recreating an ancient house, this project showed that techniques once thought to be forgotten can still work remarkably well today.